And the other thing I wish I could have told Chris and his wife is that lower prices aren't necessarily your friend in your particular circumstance. And here's why. Because condos are way more volatile than single-family homes. Are you thinking about giving up? You think about dropping out of the race to buy a home? You thinking about hanging up indefinitely? I get it. It's hard out there. I ran into a friend just the other day, well, last week or so, and he was about to make that same mistake. And luckily, I was there just in time to help him out. Kim and I, we really love local walkable areas. And we've got a place right around the corner from us. It's a little Italian place. And periodically we'll go in there maybe for a date night. But sometimes when it's a busy day, we'll just go in there and pick up something to go so that we don't have to drag our day out by making food or whatever. So this last couple of weeks ago, I had that same experience. And I ran into Chris. Now, Chris used to work there. He was the manager there. And he was sitting there with his wife, and they were enjoying a meal. And I was excited to run into him. Now, they had a toddler around the same time as we did in the pandemic. And, well, they didn't have a toddler. They had a newborn baby. And by now, he's a toddler. I think they're thinking about number 2. Maybe they might want to start for number 2. But point is that he was no longer in the restaurant industry. They were doing really well, and it was great to catch up with them. Now, the thing is, when we were laughing and joking and smiling, there was one area where it turned out that there was some tension. They had been looking for a home. And he told me, he said, we're about to hang it up indefinitely. I'm like, what's going on? Why? And he said, it's hard out there. It's expensive. We keep putting in bids and we keep getting outbid. And it's just too hard. And he added, he said, we could sell our condo easy, but finding someplace to live is the hard part. So I'm going to tell you what I told them. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Dean. Welcome to our channel, House and Home 757, where my wife, Kim, and I, we create content to help you to explore how to live well and love home. We are realtors with RE/MAX Alliance, and we serve the Hampton Roads area. All right, let's go. All right, so here's the deal. They bought a nice little 2-bedroom condo in 2016 for about $200,000. They're paying about $1,500 a month now for it, and it's worth about $300,000 today. So they've been looking for a home, and they probably are looking for a 4-bedroom, right? They want a single family home. They want maybe a backyard, someplace where they can, plant some vegetables. Their kids can run outside and catch butterflies or whatever. And if there's another one on the way, they need a 3rd bedroom and maybe an office. So they need a 4-bedroom single family home in Virginia Beach. This year, in the past 3 months, about 415 of them sold. When they were looking back in 2016, a little over 600 of them sold, and the value was approximately $320. Now the value for the same kind of home is about $489, something like that. So if they bought that kind of home today and they got a 7% interest rate, maybe it's a 6.5%, I don't know, they're going to be paying about $1,400 more per month. That's about $2,900, almost double the payment, and that is really tough. The lenders used to call that payment shock, where you go from one payment to a really, really big one, and that's really tough to deal with. Nowadays, they're calling it something else. They're calling it the lock-in effect. Now, when I say they, I mean the media's calling it the lock-in effect. And here's what that is. They borrowed that phrase from the business world. It's not really a one-to-one, analogy, but here's how it goes. Let's say, for example, think about your cell phone. We use Apple products. If you decide that you want to go from being an Apple user to an Android user, there's a lot that's going to go into that. You've got data, you've got pictures, you've got a learning curve, you've got devices. There's a lot of cost and mental, gymnastics that you have to go through in order to be able to go from being an Apple user to an Android user. And that cost is what they call a lock-in effect. So you feel stuck, right? Because you're like, I might as well not. Now, if you're happy with Apple, that's fine. But if you ever get to the point where you decide, I don't want to, now that becomes a burden. And that's how Chris is feeling right now. He's feeling stuck. He's feeling like he has no choice but to wait because of the cost associated with buying a home. So in the real estate world, it's similar, right? It's more expensive. It's very expensive to sell your house and go to another one, especially because interest rates are so high, so much higher than when they bought their house in 2016, and they're in a place where they feel stuck. Makes complete sense. What I wish I was able to tell them before my food order came is that home prices are not finished going up. When you look at supply and demand, when you look at inventory, when you look at all the factors, we are in a situation where no matter what interest rates do, either the payment's going to be more expensive or the house is going to be more expensive, whether interest rates go up or down. So it's not going to get more affordable in the short term for the average home buyer. Okay? So the only thing that's going to make a really big difference in home prices is if somehow we have a massive introduction of new construction homes being built. And I mean massive, not incremental, but massive. And the problem with that is that, everybody wants home prices to get, in control, but nobody wants new high density development being built in their neighborhood. People are protesting those things. So it's kind of a conundrum. And the other thing I wish I could have told Chris and his wife is that lower prices aren't necessarily your friend in your particular circumstance. And here's why. Because condos are way more volatile than single family homes. If the prices start to go down, then it's very possible that you could get less for your condo. And less equity means that you have less that you can put down on the next purchase. And that could impact your life significantly. So when they told me that they were going to put their home search on pause, I instantly knew one thing. I knew that they could end up stuck, not only in that condo, but in a lifestyle that doesn't fit them anymore. it could have huge implications in so many places in their life. It may impact whether they have another child. It may impact the sort of life that their child is going to live. Whether or not they decide to now they need to homeschool, or they need to go into private school, or whether or not they need to go to public school. All those things have far-reaching implications for the life that they want to live, right? Whether they can live well, and so I didn't want that. I didn't want him to be pushed into a corner like that. He's a nice guy, and so here's what I told him. What I told him was this. I said, listen, do not put your home search on hold, because I'm hearing that interest rates are going to go down eventually. And what's going to happen when interest rates go down is that there's going to be more competition. And when there's more competition, people bring cash out and they drive prices up. So it's going to be even more expensive, not less expensive, when interest rates go down. So what you need to do is use this time when the demand is reduced by higher interest rates, and use this time to buy something that you can use to build equity. So change your criteria, tighten it down, change your criteria, maybe buy something a little smaller, maybe buy something in a different city, in a different neighborhood, buy something that's a little bit of a fixer-upper, so that you can feel comfortable with the payment. But also, because if you need to compete, which maybe you might not on homes like that, but if you need to compete, you can go up a little bit, because you have become a little bit more conservative in what you're looking at. Okay, so that way you can grab something and put, that fits your family's needs, that you can continue to build equity with, and that can appreciate at a higher pace for you, and then you can use that to be able to go to the next place. There's so much more that I wanted to chat with him about. I really didn't have time. My food came, and I didn't want to be that agent standing over their table. But if I had an opportunity, one of the questions I would have asked him is, what if you wait and interest rates don't go down? Or what if prices go down and you don't have enough, you got less money that you can put down on your down payment for the next thing? How's that going to impact your plans? More importantly, how long? How long are you going to wait? Kids make time move differently. And with toddlers, before long, we're going to be talking about school. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things that are going to impact their lives, that are impacted by where they live. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to ask them those questions before I had to leave. And, hopefully I'll run into them in 3 years and they'll say that what I did share with them was so impactful that it, changed the course and the trajectory of their life. And, maybe their son is in a great school and he's thriving and he's going to be a Rhodes Scholar. I don't know. But hopefully this story is helpful for you, because a lot of people are experiencing this sort of conflict, of feeling locked in because of the circumstances of the real estate market these days. So I wanted to kind of create a forum for us to talk about this. Are you experiencing something similar? Are you thinking about giving up your home search? Are you feeling locked in? Are you feeling hopeless about your home search? If so, tell your story in the comments. You can support each other, and that will be, I think that'll be a value for the community. And of course, if you are thinking about giving up your home search and you need someone to help you to think about how to keep looking, what strategy to use to be able to find a great place where you can live well and love home, we'd be glad to help. Reach out to us. And by the way, Kim did put together a great video on how to buy a house when you have another to sell. That'd be a great one to look at next. I'll put it at the end of this video. Thanks for watching House and Home 757. Peace.